Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. I was going to make this video earlier, but it's freaking cold out, like really cold. So I had to wait till the sun was kind of like on my truck and warming it up. Craziness. Somebody on my Instagram asked me to make a video about a meme that I had posted or reposted. And it had to do with something I was already going to talk about anyway. So it was just like spirit pushing me a little bit to come out and get the message out and have a little bit of a discussion. And I think it went along the lines of, the longer you postpone releasing things that don't serve you, the longer you postpone everything that you desire in life coming in, being able to receive it. And, I've talked about this before, but it's so much about creating this space within yourself in order to receive. And in order to create that space, you have to really get rid of the things that don't serve you, or you're not going to have room in order to receive the things that you desire, because you're too busy and distracted by the things that you don't, but you don't know that you don't because you're clinging to it with comfort, right? This is happening. This is just like a lot of people are stuck here right now because they're battling themselves based on decisions they're making in their lives, or things that are in their lives that they're just sick of sitting in. It's like not what makes them happy, but it's like this comfort zone. So the ego will convince you this makes you happier, this makes life easier. But like, isn't that funny? Like the Matrix tries to like convince us that we have to live our life a certain way, and that's going to be the easiest way, when really surrendering to the universe, recognizing who you really are so you can connect enough to receive the informations to know what your passions and desires, your passions, not what the Matrix tells you your passions are, not what your parents, not what your friends, not what your school, not what your coaches, not what your anything, pastor, whatever it is. Like, they don't know what's right for you because they're not you, and they're not the ones that have to connect to their higher self in order to receive that information to know, those. You'll get those hints and stuff. So you're on this rabbit trail and following all the breadcrumbs of truth for you. And it's it's not so black and white. Everybody wants to make it black and white. It's simple, but it's not simple, and that's how everything is. It's a damn paradox when you're going through this journey. And I don't want to miss any points, but like, we really have to recognize when we're clinging for dear life onto things that don't even serve us. But like, just because people around you are saying this is the safe way to go, just because, whoever's telling you is the safe way to go, we do that, or it's what we've always done. So we're like, okay, I'm just going to do this because I know I'll be alive tomorrow if I do. And I'm being over exaggerant, but you see what I'm saying? Because, really, it's this place of survival mode. Like, not even recognizing. You think you're in your comfort zone is survival mode. And it sounds so contradictory. I'll say that again because it doesn't make sense to be in a comfort zone, but then like feel like you're surviving, right? But really, what you don't realize about your comfort zone is that it's just a familiar place. That's all it is. A familiar place. And so that familiar place just so happens to be a hell that we've normalized, just so happens to be trauma and programming that we've normalized, right? So how can we normalize something very different for ourselves? And the way to do that, the way to let that in, is really release all those things and all those situations where you're sitting in your comfort zone, and respond and like come at the situation differently. Fully release it, surrender. You don't even have to fucking do anything except say, I don't want this anymore. And then just stop making choices and decisions, allowing you to participate in that. And if you're in something where you can't immediately just like rip yourself out of it, then okay, what's the next step then? How can I feel safe in this space? How can I feel happy in this space and get into this place to receive? So then, but still not add, like still not contribute to staying there. Like set the intention, like I know this is not what I want in my life. So now I'm gonna recognize that. And do I have to rip any band-aids off right now? Do I have to take action? No, right now? No, it's more of an energy. Once you step into that energy where you decide, like, I don't fucking want this anymore, for sure. Do not want it. It doesn't matter that it has to be done today or tomorrow or next week. It's not about that. It's about making that decision so the energy can shift and you can then build momentum in a direction that actually serves your highest good and aligns with the things that your soul truly desires and not what programming says that you desire. Because we have literally convinced ourselves of our own programming to the point where we're like thinking that we desire things that we really don't. And then we get there, we achieve the thing, we get the degree, we get the job, we get the relationship, we get there. And we're like, fuck, this wasn't even it. I thought it was it. Like everybody was telling me this was it. I was thinking this was it. It aligned with, what the world is saying. And then it didn't work out. Even if it didn't, like, even if you're on your spiritual journey, like I was, and you met somebody and you thought this was it, and then it didn't fucking happen. Is that like when you're talking to somebody and they're on the same, they're thinking the same way that you think about life and spirituality and stuff, you just assume, and you have a connection, you just assume that's it. Like you don't have any more fucking lessons to learn, or maybe like not even considering that relationship, that job, that whatever it was that you thought was right. Even if you went and you started some spiritual practice where you're helping people and you didn't end up like liking it, you weren't ready for it, or it wasn't for you, or you just needed little nuggets to help you for something along the way, like that is okay. You did not fail. You literally received a beautiful gift. Let me tell you something, like what I learned in my relationships before my spiritual awakening, I learned a lot. I've only been with one person since I've woke up spiritually. And what I learned in that 4 years is more like growth than I have fucking had in my entire life combined. So the fact of the matter is I appreciate that so fucking much. And at first I thought like, oh my God, like I'm a fucking idiot, right? I failed. I hate failing. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I don't like to fail, but I failed so many times. I'm not afraid to try again, that I am to the point where I can see the gift. When you fall really fucking hard, it takes a little bit longer to see the gift. Because you're going to go in that space where you have to feel all the trauma, all the things that you've been suppressing and pretending that they're not so bad, or they're not there. My relationship's just fine. No. Look at it. If it's here to look at, it's supposed to be looked at. If you're feeling the feelings come up, if there's like conflicting energy, it's because you need to look at it. Period. There wouldn't be a ton of conflicting energy and seemingly cycles coming around if it wasn't something you need to look at or address or whatever, move on from. And that's just the thing. When we move on from things that don't serve our highest good, like we're even programmed in our spiritual journey to an extent because we have all this information coming at us. It's like the whole fucking twin flame thing. Like you can be so attached to this fucking idea, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just a tool, like every fucking thing else. It's a tool to allow you to, see yourself, see deeper truths about the world around you. All of this is a tool. This entire earth experience, every incarnation, a tool for expansion. Everything is a fucking tool. So if we can step back away from these characters and we're playing and these avatars that we're in, and be that observer and recognize everything is energy, and we can play in that energy and use it as a tool in order to grow. And that is literally why we're here. So navigating it is very complex because we have all this programming and all these preconceived notions about how we are supposed to live and operate in this world. And the way that, you know, most people operate, you know, in the 3D, in the matrix, it's normalized. There's shit that's normalized in the spiritual community. There's shit that is normalized that is toxic. Very toxic. And it's all about how we choose to navigate through the energies. Okay. I say usually we don't realize we need to go through something until after the fact. We will never understand or predict the path ahead of time. There's no predicting the future. So for me, like, I'll use me as an example. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not ashamed at my failures because I know they're gifts, and the proof is in the pudding in terms of how it elevates me in my life. Every time I'm brave enough to release some bullshit that doesn't serve my highest good, and I'm able to face it and sit in that dark night, cry those tears, feel those feelings, and then press on and recognize that gift. Every time I do that, I come out of it lifted. I come out of it within a higher vibrational space. And that is just it. It's this ladder that you're climbing. And guess what? There is no fucking destination. It's just expansion in all directions. It's just fucking expansion. And so how are we going to use this lifetime right now in order to expand as much as we possibly can? So then, you know, whenever we transition and we continue our journey after this life, we're not just going to go back, forget everything, and have to fuck up all over again and try to remember this time. Try to remember this is a fucking game, you know? All right. You can see 100 timelines in your vision, but it's still not going to be the exact one that you land on. Usually not even close, or it's refined by the universe in a way that's better than you ever imagine. You have to let go to receive it. So for me, when I get in these spaces, I had this huge plan for my life, and now I'm sitting here in this empty space because I had just had to release literally everything. And so the recovering control freak in me is trying to find a way to control it somehow. So I'm like, okay, I can't try to force anything. I can't go into action right now. I know that's not the right thing to do. That's what my ego wants to do, but I'm not. So like, I'm like in between. I'm not fully like, I have to control this. I have to try to look for places where I want to live now. I have to try to figure everything out, right? So what I'll do when I'm like getting anxious or worried a little bit, I'll start thinking of all the timelines. I'm like, okay, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And it's just like, then when I sit back and I'm like, okay, Spirit, I know for facts, every single time I sit here, I can think of as many timelines as I want. I can pull it all into my vision. And it's not gonna be any of them. It's never gonna be. It's just me trying to feel better about it, right? It's me trying to control it still. Thinking of like possibilities. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just write everything down. I write all my ideas down. I write everything down. And you know what? It's little nuggets from each little vision that you get and information that you receive. And they all go together in put together this beautiful puzzle that we don't even know what the picture of it is yet, but they all somehow go together. We just can't, we just have to surrender and allow spirit to like flow through us so we can co-create with the universe and just allow it to come in, receive. But so right now I'm like to that point where I just let go of everything. So I know there's people either refusing to let go of things right now, or they've just let go of everything and they feel like they're just in this space of like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's this shitty, fearful bullshit space of not knowing what's going to happen next. That's how I feel about this space. But I know it's a gift at the same time, simultaneously. That's so the balance in me. Like, I can see the logic, but I have the faith. I can see how I have to put the action in, but I also see how that has to be divinely inspired. I also see how that action has to come from spirit. That action has to come from something that came to me, not something I'm trying to force and create and fix, because there's nothing to fix right now. It's all about just coming into alignment and being able to release. Now, a lot of people have released, especially in the past couple months. But if you haven't yet and you're still clinging, stop torturing yourself. You're torturing yourself. Listen. What I had to just, like, I can talk about this shit because I just had to release something pretty serious. And do it. Don't fucking worry about what's going to happen. What's going to happen when you release it and you actually are able to say, I'm whole and complete and loved, with just sitting here with nothing, stripped naked, just my soul, not this avatar, not this life, not this job, not this relationship, not this fucking nothing, but my soul sitting here having the utmost faith, knowing that if I just have this deep belief and knowing that spirit always has me, and I set that intention every day, that it will come in. It will. Every single thing that you have ever desired, your soul has desired, not your ego. See, that's what my ego wanted. My ego wanted to work it out in a relationship where it was unequally yoked, where there was no reciprocity, just because you care about somebody or love somebody or whatever the case is, and you want to force it or fix it or whatever. That's what happens to, like, empaths who are like OCD and controlling and all that. They try to control the whole situation. End up, majority of the time end up feeling resentful and unappreciated. And, it's just because you're not seeing your value. You're not seeing your value at a job you hate. You're not seeing your value in a relationship where you're not getting the, you're giving, but you're not you don't even come close to receiving the amount that you give. And I'm telling you right now, there's someone out there that's going to give in the way that you give. There's a job out there, or there's a job you can create, which is what is going to be happening in this new earth. There's a job out there that's not going to make you miserable. It's going to make you happy. Just because it's something spiritual that you're getting into and you still feel miserable, like, maybe that's just not it. Maybe that was a lesson. Where is the lesson? Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself questions about why you feel the way you feel about things. Why you're clinging on to things that keep coming back in this cycle of, it fucking doesn't make me happy. We have to really go there with ourselves, and we have to stop giving a fuck what people think. I see that in myself. I'm like, oh, I can move here, but what would my family think about this? Oh, I can move here, or I could do this, or I could do that. And I'm just like, first of all, stop fucking thinking about timelines. Because when you do that, that's where you take your brain. What's this person going to think? What's my dad going to think? Because I'm a single mom with 4 kids. So my family has an opinion because they want to be involved, But it's the same thing with a job or anything else. Like, think about, like, you could be grown as fuck and your parents still have an opinion. If you quit your job that you've been at for, 20 years working towards retirement and have all your benefits, and they're going to have an opinion about that. And it's not going to be in alignment with surrendering to the universe and allowing spirit in the universe to co-create with you and bring in something that you truly desire, because they're not even on the vibrational level of understanding what the fuck that means. They just know the matrix says this is a safe route to go. So just go work your cushy government job and go home every day and pretend it's great. Oh, it's so fucking good, right? No. It's actually terrible. How do we normalize unhappiness? That's what we've done. Like, even last relationship and I watch people in relationships, and it's just like, yo, like, I wish I had a camera to follow me around and like show me that bird's eye view. Because when I'm in it, I can't fucking be there. I'm too like emotionally in it as an empath. But I wish I had someone walking around with a camera so I could just do a recap on the way I've operated in my relationship and just completely been in denial and like refusing to see shit. Because it's like that little, I don't even know, that little animal sitting at the restaurant when the whole fucking restaurant's on fire, that meme. And he's like, oh, this is okay, drinking his coffee. Like, everything's fine. Like, that's how I felt. And that's how I felt every single time I was in a situation that I needed to leave, but I didn't. Because I came from a space in my childhood where I was in survival mode, and my version of everything being okay was making it perfect, forcing it to be okay, being in a room where there's an argument and trying to be that peacekeeper, you know, whatever the case is. It's just like trying to make it okay, like trying to make everything okay all the time. I know a lot of people who are empathic deal with that. It's like they're always trying to fix the situation, and it has to do with abandonment and other issues. It's not only abandonment. There's other things that can create that energy within people, but it's just a control. That's all it is. And I was getting to a point, but I totally lost it, and that's okay. But when you're sensitive, you just want to make things right. And like sometimes, even though you look at something and you know, like, ooh, I don't really like that, but we'll be like, oh, but I can make it okay though. I can make it feel okay inside my body. We'll just let that sit over there, and I'll just pretend it's not there, even though it's fucking there. Look at it, release it. It's okay. Like, that's unworthiness shit, and I've had to work through that. If you're in denial and you don't want to see that you could have better, do better, be better, because you're afraid of losing something, you're clinging, you're attached, whatever it is, that shit will catch up to you, and it will continue to keep coming back around until you can see it. And it's torture if you keep refusing. I mean, I literally probably should have left my relationship years ago. But there's so much growth. And that's another thing that I had put here. People activate each other. And then I started realizing, just like over the years, how that is so fucking valid. And I needed that relationship I was in to be activated and see myself in ways. I needed his shadow. I needed to interact with his shadow, and he needed to interact with my shadow in order to recognize things about ourselves, so we could come into this space where we really had to face it. We really had to let go. Because there was nothing, you couldn't hold on anymore. Like, I literally got to the point where I could not control it and hold on to it anymore. It was driving me mentally crazy and emotionally. And it was like, I have to release this so I can be free. And that's what it is with everything right now. You have to release it so you can be free. If you're not free, you're not going to be able to receive. You're not in the way that you really truly want, not in a way that's like in alignment with your divine purpose, in alignment with what the fuck we came here to do, which is raise our vibration and anchor it for the collective. And the more that we step into our missions, the more we will raise our vibration, because service to others is it. There's a lot of people, like, I use relationships as an example because that's my big lesson learner. No surprise. I have my sun and moon and Mercury are all in Libra. And then my rising, my rising and my Venus are in Virgo. But all that Libra is just like, obviously I came in here to learn my lessons in relationships. and show people that balance, because I actually am a very balanced person. I came in very masculine, but I know I know that my job is to bring in much more feminine energy. And that's what I've done ever since I've had my awakening. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. There's something I wanted to add to that, and I had it in the middle of that sentence and it's gone. That's the one. Another thing, the memory loss, the short-term memory loss is getting crazy. I've always kind of dealt with that. And at first I thought it was like, when you dissociation, like when you go through abuse or trauma, especially in childhood, and you literally are so traumatized by the incident and want to not face it so badly that you forget it. That's not this, because like when you raise your vibration, the more you step into the space that time does not exist, everything's happening at the same time. So it's more of like, if you don't need that memory, then don't let it use up space in your brain, and allow, allow yourself to hold on to things, or not hold on, but like keep that space for things that you need, information that you need. So if it's something that you don't need to remember, then why the fuck are you keeping it in that space that you're operating from, So yeah, I needed to come and talk about releasing, because there's too many people clinging right now. I hate watching people suffer, and that's how I feel. I feel like I'm watching a lot of people suffer. People who reach out to me on social media and, on YouTube and everything else, I feel they're suffering right now, and it's like difficult, because you can talk and you can say things till you're blue in the face, and I can trigger people into like seeing and perceiving things differently. But at the end of the day, when you're in it, it's so hard to see it. You have to step out of it. You have to be that observer. You have to be like, sit down with a piece of paper and write down, okay, this is my issue. And then just write down everything you fucking think about it, and every question you can ask about that, and get really fucking real with yourself. Don't abuse yourself though. Don't talk down on yourself, because that's how I felt after like me and Lance broke up, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, was I really that blind? How am I on here making YouTube videos? And I just had this, like, to me, my ego, huge fuck up. But really, it was the biggest gift I could ever have had. And I don't regret not one single fucking thing since 2016, when I really started pushing into the spiritual, path. The biggest gift preparing me for my future was that relationship. And wow, thank you, Spirit, for that. And I will forever be grateful for that relationship. I'll forever love Lance. Like, this is nothing. We're all going through our stuff. We all have different things to face. So his thing to face was different than my thing to face. And everybody's facing stuff right now. So it's like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and make the same decisions you made the last time about it? It's not going to be fun if you do. And I honestly don't even know how people are still doing that. Like, how many months can you sit, in the corner of your room crying in the dark night of the soul until you're like, okay, I'm going to do something differently. I know, you guys, I know. Like, it's pretty dark spaces that we're going into right now. But it's pretty fucking light ones too, if you can get past it, if you can release it. Fuck what people think. I think that's the hardest thing for me, is that everybody looks at my situation and they want to give me some logical 3D explanation as to how I should operate and navigate moving forward. And I really have to get into this space where I don't care that I don't know what's about to happen, because my faith is so fucking like on high, that it will come to me. And I truly believe that whatever, everything, where I want to live, relationship, whatever it is, that shit will flow to me in an effortless way. And things, how will you know? How will you know, if something is real or if something is right? You won't see yourself repeating the cycle. You will come into that space of alignment and things will just naturally happen. It's not you sitting there trying to figure it out. It just happens, and it's like, whoa, like, it's a miracle because you can feel it with everything in your body. And it's not hard. That is the biggest thing. It's like, it's not hard. And I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, because nothing is perfect. But it's not hard when it comes in. Like, for me, even like when I started my YouTube channel, I'm not even the type of person that, like, when in school, I would get so embarrassed just to do a presentation in front of people. If you would have told me I was going to get on camera and talk to people, like, yeah, fucking right. All I do is sit in my little introverted box and do what I want, go about my day. Like, but it was like so much conviction. I just turned my phone on one day and started making videos. Did I plan it? Hell no. And like, I'm still making them years later. And now I have like a colossal list of ideas in order to expand my channel, create another channel, create courses, all that in the works, happening, right? But if you would have told me, or that I could have guessed that, not in a million years. And every single piece of the puzzle has come to me over years. And guess when you get new pieces to the puzzle? When you stop trying to put pieces from a puzzle that ain't even fucking the puzzle that you're supposed to be working on, yours. You're trying to fit pieces from a different puzzle into yours. You're trying to bring pieces from the Matrix puzzle into your puzzle. And it has nothing to do with your mission. It has nothing to do with the person you're supposed to be with. It has nothing to do with where you're supposed to live. None of that. All of those pieces of the puzzle don't even fucking go to yours. And you're over here letting people convince you, no. Those pieces do go to your puzzle. Those pieces go to your puzzle. Fuck what people think. We really have to get into this space. I think that's why a lot of people are clinging and not letting go of things that don't serve them right now, because they care what the world thinks. They care what their parents think. They care what people think. That is and it's just this like needing validated by something externally, even if it's your fucking parents. Logical advice about what you should do with your life. They are not you. It's not it. It's not the piece to your puzzle. Try to convince yourself all day long of it, but nobody else is ever going to give you the pieces to your puzzle. You are. You in the co-creation with the universe. And a piece to your puzzle isn't somebody coming in, they're that piece. No, it's not even that. It's so much bigger than that. You will always feel free, no matter, even if you're in a relationship. It's about being free. And I don't mean that in a like, I'm going to go sleep with everybody, but being really, no, that's not what the fuck I mean. I hate the infiltration in the spiritual community around the looseness and sexuality under the guise of freedom. Get the fuck out of here. It's about integrity and treating people with respect and navigating relationships with respect. Totally off on a tangent, but apparently that needed to be said. But yeah, the point of the matter is that the pieces to your puzzle, they will come through this co-creation with the universe. So we have to stop thinking that, what other people are trying to tell us or show us about our lives. Like, there's no way that they could possibly have the answers for you, because the answers for you are within you. So we have to start getting really real with ourselves. I hate saying, if you don't, then this is going to happen. Come on. You already fucking know. You already know what's going to happen if you don't, because you keep repeating that cycle. So you know how that cycle ends out, right? You know how it comes around and what the result's going to be. It might not be the exact result, but it's going to be along the same lines energetically, vibrationally. The way you receive that is going to be this of the same vibration. That's like growing out of a job or relationship or whatever. It's like, it's a different vibrational frequency. That's why you feel so uncomfortable. That's why it's so in your face. The more you raise your vibration, the more you see that truth and you're like, oh shit, like this doesn't feel right. And then you're like clinging to the idea that that piece of the puzzle does go in there. It does go in my puzzle. I swear my mom said it does. My mom said it does. This person knows about spirituality and they didn't get the jab, and like we seem to have some things in common, but like vibrationally they don't want to do the work. But it's okay. I can save space for them to grow. Fuck that. Do not do that. I'm telling you, it's a trap. It's a puzzle piece that doesn't go into the mission. Is it a puzzle piece? Is it a lesson to learn along the way? Yes, all of this is. We're all just trying to figure out that there's only one puzzle. All the pieces are within us. All the answers are within us. And all we have to do is connect with spirit so we can align to putting it together. Because that is what it is. It's a co-creation. Now I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but I really want to hammer this home. I love you guys. Have the fucking courage. Pull that courage out of you. Because that's what it comes down to right now. Self-love. Courage. Just like grabbing life by the balls and saying, I'm going to do things in alignment with me. Does my dad have this opinion about how I should live my life? Yes. And I will sit there and I will hear him out and say, I appreciate that. Thank you for that insight, because it does make me look at this situation from a different perspective. Thank you. Now moving forward, I'm going to have a more expanded perception of how I might want to move in this situation. Thank you. That's what you can say to somebody. You don't have to be afraid of disappointing somebody. Just be real. That is the biggest thing in the world. I swear to God, people walk on eggshells. The Matrix teaches us to tell people what they want to hear instead of just being real. And you know what? I've always made people uncomfortable because I was born saying what the fuck I feel. It's like it comes to my brain, I'm going to say it. Obviously, I've had to work on that along the way because you have to come from a space of integrity. But there's so much value in that because you nip things in the butt. You rip the Band-Aid off. You solve the fucking problem because you have the conversation. And communication is how you get to this space of understanding, especially when you feel like people are trying to, insert a certain perspective into your life because they want it to turn out a certain way because they love you. I know my parents love me. I know they want me to feel supported and all that. But at the end of the day, I have my own decisions to make. And, they aren't in alignment with my puzzle. They're just a player in my reality, for a very brief moment. This incarnation is just a snap of the fingers. It's that quick. Time is very slowed down in the human experience because we're dense. We're in dense vessels. High vibrational beings don't even have an avatar. They're just energy. That's why it creeps people out. But anyways, I love you guys, and I hope this message helped. And just grab life by the balls and be real with people. Be real with yourself more than anything. And don't be afraid to write things down because that shit helps. It helps, especially if you're not talking to others. I don't really... it's okay to talk to others about what you want to do with your life, to see that other perspective, but don't be too attached by their opinions or what you think about what they think about what you're going to do. So only have those conversations if you're sovereign enough to say, okay, thank you, but I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do anyways. Not to them, but in a respectful way to yourself. Just remember, Kelsey, you're still going to come from a space that's in alignment with you. You're still going to sit with this information, maybe write some things down, maybe ask yourself some questions, and then from a space of alignment, when you feel good, you make decisions. Now, when you're in a low vibrational space, if you're frustrated, sad, feeling abandoned, depressed, don't make decisions because they're going to be low vibrational. They're going to be irrational. They're going to be emotionally based. just chill. As much as you want to text that person or quit that job immediately, just chill and just be patient and wait for spirit to give you the little breadcrumbs to follow. They will come, but you have to create that space first and stop clinging to things that don't serve you. All right? I love you guys.